don't like being sworn at. It's not very nice.
I do, but only in the bedroom.
Whoa, damn.
Turned into a lawyer and a kink master.
I could literally hear Peter like pull his collar when he said that. Like
I did.
Oh.
I've got a new box under my arm with Toon Kings and men of Bretonia. So let's set the tone, listening to the one and only. We've got to that old world charm.
Hello, our lovely denizens of the old world, and welcome back to episode 25 of that old world charm. We are joined by the full complement, the full charmed ones, contingent. Danny the Sweetmeats himself. Hello, brother.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Oh, so good to have you back on the show. We missed you so deeply. Me and Pete didn't know what to do with ourselves.
And I'm really sorry that I left you alone with Peter for so long.
Last week in particular was a goddamn mess without you.
It was a dog's breakfast. Yeah.
Adam literally got off a 15-hour flight and was like, Pete, we got to record. And I was like, my son just broke his leg. I've been in a hospital for 3 days. Let's do it. And
15 hours. That was the first leg.
Oh, God.
That's just me to Dubai is 15 hours.
Hold on. Is Belgium like the furthest country away from Australia in the world? It's got to be like on almost exactly the opposite side.
Yeah, you're not too far off. There are further. I've gone far further in the past, but yeah, it's pretty freaking far, man.
To the moon.
Yeah, essentially to the moon. Straight to the moon. Anyway, per the votes of our lovely patrons, which you should all be part of, you should all just go over to that old world charm on Patreon, sign up and become a patron, because then you would get to vote on what we're reviewing today. And we are reviewing the Ogre Kingdoms, the fat boys, the chunky, lunky, lard men of the old world. And it's our time to go back into one of the unsupported factions or the renegade factions. And we put up a poll in our Discord, and the Ogre Kingdoms won. They won by one vote. One vote over the Lizardmen, which may very well be the next one we do after we cycle back through one of the supported factions. We're going tit for tat, so to speak. But we also have the Warriors of Chaos Arcane Journal looming, so that might be coming in a couple of weeks too. We don't know when that's supposed to be released. But gents, pretty exciting times in the old world, really. Like we've got 2 Arcane Journals coming out in pretty much supporting months, or maybe a month between, which is damn fine. We're in the lead up to Christmas, and we've had a lot of swirling rumors about what could possibly happen at Christmas. At the start of the old world, people were suspecting we would get a new faction around Christmas time, which could Cathay or Kislev, which would be amazingly exciting, or it could be something else completely different. Yeah, and there's rumors swirling about a GT pack, about a competitive or match play pack. So we could be getting a deluge of awesome new stuff. What are you guys excited for?
Any new models are always something I'm excited for. I don't even care what faction it is. You love to see new models. That's what I would be most excited for, I guess.
I am excited for a GT pack. If it's real, I want to see where their mind is. Where's their brain going for the game? And I think that's like a real good place to find out. The rules team has been real tight with their FAQs and pushing out updates for us in a timely fashion and answering a lot of our questions right away. So yeah, I think that's what excites me most. I mean, I do love new models, especially like new models, not just new to me models. So I am excited for that, but the GT pack's where it's at for me.
Adam,
yeah, I agree.
What do you want for Christmas? Do you want a competitive pack as well?
I do want a competitive pack. Yeah.
Yep.
There's a couple of things. There's a couple of things in the game that are working a bit stronger than intended, I believe. Mounted monsters being, I think, the community's number one issue at the moment, with just them being just such a stat checker, win-loss. And then past that, things like 360 vision, skirmishes or mounted characters, and flying cav Pegasus, nice, being the three things we would like to see some measure of reined in a GT pack, or at least something done to curb their I get to do everything all the time. So that would feel great. In addition, if they wanted to do something to the bottom, like just like a general, like give us a 3rd rank bonus for infantry, something like that. Just something to make infantry a little bit more palatable at the moment, because there are so many. It's just such a stark contrast between infantry that can be taken and infantry that can't be taken in a competitive environment. Like there's just such a huge gap. And in saying that, we're going to talk about some of the better and some of the worst infantry in the game in this book, because this is my faction, this is my main, this is the Ogre Kingdoms, baby. We're going to be starting off this review over on page 2. Of course, we're going to be doing this as we always do. We're going to be reading out things, we're going to be discussing them as we go. Every single unit, every single magic item is going to get a little bit of time in the sun. In addition to that, we're not going to be doing it in a linear fashion because we don't love the way that these books are written out. So we're going to do the army list. Then we're going to jump over to the special rules and special weapons, or the faction-specific weapons. And then so when we review the units, we have context. What are all these special rules we're reading out, et cetera, et cetera. But gents, jumping off the army list, Peter, anything here that stands out to you? Anything here especially spicy?
Ogres are big.
All right. Show's done, guys. We're out of here. Enjoy your 5 minutes and 38 seconds of the podcast. That's it. Done.
Honestly, no. There's nothing here. I will say, like, there are a lot of limitations in the Ogre book in terms of like 0-1s per 1,000. But given that ogres are big and everything's expensive, it doesn't actually feel that way most of the time. With a couple exceptions, I know Adam would love to run 3 units of Mornfang if he could.
Yes.
Probably also wouldn't be upset if he could run 5 Stonehorns in a list, but unfortunately you can't, at least at 2,000 points. So
yeah, this is a tale of, I feel like, one of the most restricted armor composition lists in the game. Naturally, 0-1 Tyrants and Slaughtermasters, general level characters per 1,000 points, totally fine. You have to have a unit of Ogre Bulls, which kind of does suck because they are pretty bad and quite a bit of attacks. We do get a couple of good things added to core that we didn't have in the past. Things like Noblar Trappers and Sabertusk. Sabertusk has been quite clutch, but they have been falling off in my estimation over the duration of the old world. I'm taking them less and less. But then when we go into the special, it is literally just a tale of 0-1 per 1,000 points, almost all the way down. Apart from lead belchers and yetis, which you can take as many of as you want. 0-1 man eaters per 1,000, 0-1 Mornfang per 1,000, 0-1 heavy chariot of your choice per 1,000. Iron Blaster, Scrap Launcher. It doesn't stop there. 0-1 Stonehorn and Thundertusk per 1,000, 0-3 Gorgeous Total. So there is just like so many things here that have restrictions that you want to take. And yes, that becomes awkward, but yeah, that's probably for the best balance-wise, because if I could make an army out of literally here is 1 unit of 3 Ogre Bulls and Mornfang, I probably would at this point.
Now, you could run 5 Stonehorns, right?
Technically, you could, yes.
Oh, I guess, yes, because they could be...
Yeah, triple bruiser.
For your general? Oh, yeah, because hunters can't be your general, right?
Correct.
No, but a tyrant can get on a Stonehorn now, can't he?
Yeah.
But you don't. You just don't take a tyrant. You go triple bruiser, double Stonehorn rider.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I do have that list sitting in my new recruit for a day when someone tries to play something savagely dumb versus me. And I'm just like, yeah, we're out of here in 3 turns, baby, one way or another.
Yeah, let me show you what.
All right. But jumping into the special rules, gents, that is us going to be diving all the way down the list to page 24. The first up here is largely insignificant. Units with this special rule never cause friendly units to make panic tests. However, a unit with a special rule cannot be joined by a character without this special rule. And you'll see that pretty much on all the Noblar units, which makes sense. Nothing really to discuss there, apart from you are happy to have that because a lot of the time you're going to be screening and getting your Noblars killed for the betterment of your Ogre Chieftains. Tell us about Lookout Noblars, Danny.
Sure. Lookout Noblars allow a champion or character that has joined the unit with the special rule to make a Lookout Sir as long as there's 2 or more other rank and file models in the unit. In addition, you can make a Lookout Sir roll if there are 5 or more rank and file models in the unit. So you get both, right?
You
re-roll it. I'm sorry, you re-roll it. Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So this is a key piece of tech, which I've actually found myself taking out of my list more often than not, especially if you have a mounted lord. A lot of the time, your level 4s and level 2s and stuff want to be hanging out behind the units and just not being targeted at all.
Yeah.
Rather than in the units and at risk. So I actually found the Lookout Nobbler has dropped off quite a lot in my estimation. The most of the time I'm using it now is when I have a Bruiser BSB in a unit of Iron Guts, and then I'll buy that unit of Lookout Nobbler. But the vast majority of the time, like, I have one of these in my army. And I've just been saving the points where I can. The PD Baby, tell us about Mournfang charge.
Driven by the momentum of the charge, the monstrous tusks of a Mournfang pierce through armor with ease to gore the enemy deeply. Impact hits caused by Mournfang have Armor Bane 1 and Armor Piercing characteristic of -1. Pretty good. Fucking hate when I get hit by them.
Mm-hmm.
I got to say that that reading pierced me deeply. Ugh. All right, Numbing Chill is up next. But also, that's a very good rule, by the way. The Mournfang charge is freaking exceptional and very necessary. Numbing Chill.
Adam, right? Like, the whole army rule is impact hits. Like, that's your special rules. Any kind of benefit that you get to that is going to be a huge value add.
100%. Well, in good news, Danny, you're going to be breeding that one out in a second. But Numbing Chill is up next. This will be found on your Yetis and your Thunder Tusks. Whilst in base contact with this model, enemy models suffer a -1 modifier to their weapon skill and initiative characteristics to a -1. I've really found that initiative just doesn't matter. So often in the game at the moment, you're either charged and a higher initiative, or they charged you and -1 doesn't cut the mustard because you're usually initiative 2 on this army. But the -1 weapon skill can be fun, especially if you are their weapon skill 4 army and you're base 3. So bring it back down to, it can be a pseudo -1 to hit. But still, I haven't found a lot of use for that as of yet in the game.
Well, it's because you took out all the Yetis from your list after that one time I did the stand and shoot and killed like 7 of them.
You did 8 wounds to a 9 wound unit with a stand and shoot.
Yeah, with let's be honest, that with nine shots.
9 shots. You did 8 wounds to a 9 wound unit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I drop them too. And I Daddy, so take it away.
Does this, do you play this as per model or per unit?
It says model, which is frustrating.
So, like, if you have 3 Yetis and they're like you have base to base contact, like with most of the enemy models in the unit, with like 2 of them, are they -2 weapon skill and initiative?
No, I believe it's FAQ'd to only be a single instance.
Okay.
Unless I'm tripping. Also, there is some awkward things that happen if someone's playing Linehammer versus you. It's the models in base contact, so the supporting attacks can be argued do not take this issue, and so I've just been like, this debuff brings up so many more issues than it solves, and therefore I do not think it is good, and that's really frustrating to me. Yeah. It should just be units in base contact with this unit, and then bada bing bada boom, it's not an issue. All right, Danny, Ogre Charge.
I'm with you. Okay, Ogre Charge. This is the rule that the Army book has. So, Ogre Charge. Ogres barge into combat using their great lumbering mass as a weapon, harnessing their tremendous momentum, crush anything they collide with.
Yeah. Do it.
The armor-piercing characteristic of any impact hits caused by a model with a special rule, but not its mount, is improved by the current rank bonus of the unit, or in the case of characters, the current rank bonus of any unit they've joined.
Yep. And you'll find everything has impact hits virtually. Like everything pretty much except Yetis and Nobblars and Saber Tusks have impact hits to some variety. Yeah. And so deeper your units, better this rule is. 10th edition is pretty lukewarm on wanting large units of infantry to make this worthwhile. And so I've literally had this come up maybe twice where I actually have increased AP. Peter, is this a good rule?
It's fine. Like you said, because the game right now is kind of favoring smaller units for the most part, and Ogre unit models are very expensive to begin with. If you're running a Gut Star, so that would be for anybody at home that doesn't understand, a large unit of Iron Guts, like say 6 or 7 or 8, that's really the only time this ever comes up. Because very few people are running bulls in large numbers or man-eaters or anything like that. So,
yeah, exactly correct, mate. Stone Skeleton's up next. This model is less vulnerable to multiple wounds X special rule. If it suffers any unsaved wounds from an attack with this special rule, reduce the number of wounds lost by 1 to a minimum of 1. This will be found on your Stonehorns. And it's actually very cute rule. a lot of ogre blades running around out there at the moment where this is just like, lol, I will turn you back into a great weapon, sir. I do not care. I like this rule. It's one of the main things that I really, really like about the Stonehorns in the current meta because it makes them quite resistant to cannonballs as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Peter, you got the last one.
Thunderous charge. The ground trembles and shakes beneath the thunderous charge of a Stonehorn. Impact hits caused by Stonehorns have AP2.
Yep. It pretty much just means your Stonehorns are, in fact, heavy chariots.
Yep.
Enough said. All right, weapons of the Ogre Kingdoms. Danny, harpoon launcher.
All right. The harpoon launcher. This is a ranged weapon with a range of 36 inches. Strength of 6, AP -2. It has multiple wounds D3 and is ponderous. So -2 for
move and shoot.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So what is this? So this comes on like the beast riders on the back of
Correct.
Stonehorns and what are they, frost tusks or whatever?
The tusks, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've yet to take one. And
Sorry.
Okay. No, go.
Go ahead.
No.
No, I don't want to.
No, you.
Stand off. No, stand off.
Okay. I can do this all day.
Me too.
I hate that it's ponderous because like you're on a big fucking dinosaur shit thing. Like let it just be -1, guys. -2. Just don't do that. It's not like there's like ballistic skill 8 ogres running around or anything. Get out of here.
Correct.
Get out of here, Games Workshop.
The vast majority of the time, when you're outside 18 inches, this thing hits on 7s. Because you're on a mounted beastie that you want to get closer to the enemy because you want to make your investment in a mounted beastie worth it. And so you're hitting on 7s like 3/4 of the time until you're in freaking charge range already. Then maybe you shoot it once before you charge. Yeah, the ponderous skill for me. And it's really annoying because otherwise it would actually be a pretty good weapon. Iron Fist. This is one of the bread and butter equipment upgrades for the ogres. Ostensibly, it is a shield / extra additional hand weapon at the same time. So strength user, AP nothing. Extra attacks 1, requires 2 hands. And the notes say an Iron Fist is an additional hand weapon, as described on page 213 of the Warhammer rulebook. In addition, a model equipped with an Iron Fist improves its armor save by 1. It cannot be used alongside a magic weapon to gain an extra attack or improve its armor value. So it can't be used as a shield. Like you can't take it to count as a shield towards your overall armor save. But if you have it and you use it, you will get +1 attack and +1 save. So really, this is only an Ogre Bulls, but I have, and Mournfang, but I have found case points where I do not hate it on Man-Eaters, funnily enough. Getting them up to a nice 4-up save, in addition to having just a bucket of strength 5 attacks that have armor bane. Chuck on the Razor Standard as well, and then you just have like, they just have infinity attacks each, and you just rip in 6s, making them AP3. So Iron Fists are really quite good and a bread and butter. And I'd love to see, Bulls come back into the fore and this be a good use on them once again. The next two, Pete, you can just chuck together. This is an Ogre Pistol and Bracer Pistols.
Yeah, so Ogre Pistols, it's a pistol. So it's 24 inches, strength 4, AP 1, armor bane 1, and quick shot, which is nice. Get that stand and shoot. Except these are always on 30, 40, 50-point models or more. And then brace of Ogre Pistols. This is what if you had 2? So it's a pistol, but it's multiple shots too. And you get an extra attack when you're in close combat with it. Because it's basically also an extra hand weapon. You see these on Man-Eaters sometimes, if you're just going to go all out.
100%. All right, and that is our weapons of the ogres done. We're going to jump back up to page 3 and start talking about our tyrannical overlords, Danny.
Sure. So tyrannical overlords, these are your tyrants and bruisers. Pretty standard lord levels, like offensive stats, weapon skill 6 or weapon skill 5. If you have a tyrant or bruiser, respectively. The thing that really sets these guys apart is they're like an ogre, which has pretty good stats generally, but better. So strength and toughness 5 on both of these guys, 5 and 4 wounds on the tyrant bruiser, respectively, 5 and 4 initiative, 5 and 4 attacks, and then leadership 9 and 8 for 185 or 110 points. They come standard with light armor. You can upgrade that for heavy armor. They can be mounted on a stone horn, or a thunder tusk, right? Yeah, I think they can.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yep.
And then you can give them additional hand weapons, iron fist, great weapons, or ogre pistols, or braces of ogre pistols. They can take a single big name, which we'll get to later. Stock standard, they have armor bane, bull charge, fear, impact hits 2, and overcharge. Bull charge just means that they get an extra AP on their impact hits.
Yeah, so they just come with AP 1 on the impact hit stock, and then you can add to that by the rank bonus. So if you had 2 ranks behind you, they would have AP 3 impact hits, which is quite cute. I always take a tyrant, because the issue with this army is that the tyrant for 185 points is the only place to get better than leadership 8, and that sucks. There isn't any banner of discipline anymore or anything like that, or crown of commands to really block up and gum up things and make your units not break or not have bad combat res because you don't have any ranks or whatever. I really, really like bruises. The bruiser stat line for 110 points is the equivalent of other people's lords. Like, it has lower weapon skill, lower initiative, but the wounds, the attacks, the strength, the toughness, they're all at other people's lord level like stuff. It's the same as a vampire lords. Yeah, it's the same as the vampire lords, with the exception of the weapon skill and initiative. Mm-hmm. It's pretty much the same. So it is actually really good for 110 points. If you just wanted to spam out bruises, which I have considered doing, here is a front rank of bruises with great weapon. You actually feel pretty good about it. But yeah, the issue is the tyrant almost comes as a ubiquitous tax that you have to pay 185 points in most lists to just not have an army that just panics off the board when it lose. It's a unit of 4 guys and they lose 2 to shooting, and bang, units out of there. So I do. This is one of the big. I don't want to say failure points. It's one of the big crux points of the list. Do you take a tyrant? Do you have to take a tyrant? And if you do, how do you get the most out of it? Peter, how do you feel about these guys?
I mean, you guys have talked about. There's not much else to say. I do like the idea of running like a multi-bruiser list. I would love to see that in play, to be honest. Just because, like you said, they're very efficient for their points. Tyrants scare the crap out of me. Like a tyrant with a tenderizer in a unit. Like in all the games you and I have played, Adam, we've had a lot of close games with your ogres. It's not like mass stonehorns or anything like that bother me. It's a decent gut star with a tyrant in it, because there's not a lot of stuff in the game that can one-shot a tyrant, and a tyrant can one-shot a lot of stuff in the game that's not on a mount, like a thick boy. So you can't just hit them with anything, right? Like your answer has to be very specific. And I do like that about them.
Well, yeah, exactly right. The best thing about the tyrant is that its stat line is so good, you don't need to spend a huge amount of points in defensibility. You can actually go, apart from like a talent of protection, which is pretty much all I'll chuck on it, and then I'll just try and get troll guards up for a little bit of extra. You pretty much just go all offense. And like to your point, like a great bin, or the freaking tenderizer is gangbusters on a tyrant. Like I remember you played the double mangler into me, and bang, one shot a mangler, bang, one shot another mangler. That was sick. Yep. And then you hated manglers for the rest of the
I already hated them. You just proved the point. They're bad. Right?
Like, yeah.
Adam, do you usually run yours with a tenderizer? Is that like tenderizer?
It's a coin. It's a coin flip. If I'm putting him on a stone horn, sometimes I've been taking the Gutmaw, which is if you're in the challenge, I just take him with the Gutmaw and a great weapon just to save a bunch of points. And he just goes in, challenges out other people, and he'll kill the whole unit eventually, and he'll take no wounds in the process because he'll get them back through challenges. So that's really good if you want to budget. Otherwise, tenderizer talent of protection is just absolutely amazing. Highly rate. Tell us about the emissaries, Peter.
Emissaries. So these are your wizards. Two of the possible wizards you can take in an ogre army. Your Slaughtermaster is your level 4. They come base 230 points, which is pretty steep. Yikes. But once again, it's an ogre, so toughness 5 wounds base is pretty solid defensively just from the get-go. He does still have 4 attacks. They can take a big name, which once again we'll get to later. They may take a Butcher's Cauldron, which I really liked until I really thought about it, and then I stopped liking it. They can be level 4. The Butcher may be a level 2. They have Armor Bane 1. They cause fear. They have impact hits 2, like their more tyrannical brothers. They have the Lore of the Great Maw, which has an amazing signature spell, Ogre Charge, and like they have access to arguably the 3 best lores: Battle Magic, Elementalism,
Agreed.
and Illusion. So like it's real solid. You should probably take one in a list if you can.
My issue is the points.
Yeah.
Keep going back. Tell us about the Cauldron.
Yeah, the Cauldron. So if you choose to take the Cauldron for that 30-point upgrade, it moves from Impact Hits 2 to Impact Hits D3+1. In addition, as long as you're not engaged in combat, you can take a leadership test and give your unit a 5+ regen. However, if you fail, you lose a wound. So if it wasn't for that thing about not being locked in combat, I would actually love the Butcher's Cauldron because a 30-point regen save that you're going to get off 70 to 80% of the time is super worth it. But the fact that you're now you want to be in combat with most of your units, and then you lose it as soon as you are, it's a huge drawback.
It killed it. It killed it for me. I played the Butcher's Cauldron exactly once, and this is like my very first game of Ogres. I played it exactly once, and I realized Ogres are inherently an aggressive army. Inherently, you want to be pushing, you want to be pressuring your opponent. And like people will just charge fast cav into you, like survive a turn, stop you getting off your Butcher's Cauldron, and then blow up your unit. It's actually a really kind of a rough. Plus, it is an leadership 8. And I do have a fundamental problem with the fact that a Slaughtermaster and like a Butcher, a Slaughtermaster for 230 or a Butcher for 105, you are more than double the points of a Butcher. And then you add the extra Wizard level for 35 points, 265 points for a level 4 before you add anything. 285 points if you chuck on the Cauldron before you add anything. And then you add on the fact that a lot of the time your casters don't want to be in units because they can't cast if they're in combat. And you can't get your Cauldron off in combat. So you take them out of the unit and then you lose the reason to take the Cauldron. And that's pretty much where I've gotten to with my Slaughtermaster. Yeah, he doesn't join units anymore. He just hangs out the back. The days of the Fencer's Blade, Glittering Scales combo is pretty much gone. So, Slaughtermaster is still freaking gangbusters for every reason you just said. The fact that you get like Illusion on an aggressive army is fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. Where you get to push up and then, force through, power scroll through some, crystal columns or, you can't charge me stuff and then just have your way with your opponent is really powerful. And then when your opponent tries to pressure your caster with fast cav, it's a freaking Slaughtermaster and you just go kill him.
You just bonk him.
Yeah, it's so good.
He's going to have 5 attacks, right? Like a lot of times.
Yeah.
So
and impact hits. He's got 2 impact hits as well. Yeah. So like, lol, I've had people like you have a level 4 like Empire cast and you're like, I'm going to go eat that guy with 5 Olivian Reavers. And then you exchange that for a Slaughtermaster and your shoulder's just like, piss off, kid. Get out of here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't you know who I am?
Don't you know how fat I am? Hunters is up next, 115 points. Movement 6, weapon skill 5, strength and toughness 5. BS 4, which is somewhere to place of note because there are some shooting attacks here. Strength and toughness 5, 4 wounds, initiative 3, 4 attacks, leadership 9, but it's a leadership 9 that you cannot make your general because he has special rules of Armor Bane 1, Fear, Impact Hits 1, Loner, Move Through Cover, Ogre Charge, and Running with the Pack. Note if this, of course, the standard caveat to Running with the Pack is he can join unit Sabertusks, and he gains Swift Stride if he does, as long as he is. And as long as the Hunter remains with the unit, the Sabertusks lose Impetuous, which is the biggest downside of Sabertusks. So you can actually make a very cute unit of like big unit of Sabertusks with a Hunter. It's actually not too bad. They come with great throwing spears, which is range 12, strength +1, so strength 6, AP 1, move and shoot, quick shot. So a nice little cute shooting unit there. Can have ambushes, scout, and vanguard in addition to 50 points of magic items and can be mounted on the standard mounts. I played Hunter a couple of times. I think it's cute. I think I'm waiting for a meta where it feels really good. I think if I played elves more often, I think the Hunter would feel better. But most of the time, I've been playing things like Warriors of Chaos, Dwarves, and things like that lately, and the Hunter doesn't have a huge place in those because, charging the flank of hammerers with Hunters and Sabertusks is just a reason to get a Sabertusk killed. Danny, how do you feel about the Hunter?
I don't know, like thematically, one of my favorite models in the entire range. I really like hunters. Rules wise, not great. Considering him as like maybe like a scout, like for 120 points and just like running him around by himself.
Yep.
Seems like not terrible because he's pretty, I mean, he's just as durable as like a bruiser, more or less, right?
Yeah.
So like, I think there's some stuff there. I don't really like him in the Saber-Tooth spec just because it's easy to do wounds to them and just beat them on combat res.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, that's what I found in the one time I did play it. You end up taking what is a very expensive unit, and you can still only go after the same units the Saber-Tusks were going after anyway. The Hunter doesn't change the fact that the Saber-Tusks and that unit can still only go after light units because the Saber-Tusks are so squishy. You know, they're tough to score 2 wounds with no save.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sticking with you, Danny, tell us about the Firebelly. My former favorite model in the entire Ogres range.
Oh, he is a cool model. Like model wise. So the Firebelly is the standard butcher profile. So toughness 5, 4 wounds, 3 attacks, weapon skill 3, leadership 7. He has a strength 4 breath weapon and a 4+ ward save against any attacks that were caused by flaming attacks. He has special rules of Armor Bane 1. He has his fear. He also has flaming attacks himself, impact hits 1, and ogre charge. You can make him a level 2 wizard for 35 points. He costs 110 base. You can give him a great weapon, which might be the best upgrade this model has. He cannot take a big name, unlike butchers.
It's only 5 points more than a butcher to get a breath weapon, essentially. Essentially, it's 5 points for a breath weapon because we know flaming attacks aren't very prevalent in the meta. Otherwise, that could be a cute reason. But it's only 5 points. Like, it's literally 5 points to go from the butcher to the Firebelly. So I don't hate the idea. I haven't yet tried my double Fireball belly, which is what I used to run. Like, it was just a Firebelly level 2 with fire magic, and so I'd just be double fireballing. I might give it a go, but you have to be fast enough to stay outside of dispel range because only being level 2. Peter, is there anything else here we're missing on the Firebelly?
No, I think it's a lot of really good rules that aren't good anymore.
Yeah, agreed. All right, tell us about the character mounts, brother. Actually, let's not even bother. Let's do it.
Okay, we'll do it real quick. Stonehorn's 195 points. You might think to yourself, "Holy shit, that's a lot of points." But makes him movement 7. He's got a strength of 6. He bumps your toughness up by 1, so now all your big boys are toughness 6. He gives them +4 wounds. Your tyrant's now 9 wounds if you're riding this sucker. 8 wounds for your cheap bruisers. He's got 4 base attacks. He's got Armor Bane 2. He's got First Charge, D6 +1, impact hits. He's got that Stone Skeleton. We already went there. He's got Swift Stride, Terror, Thunderous Charge. All of his attacks are at AP 2. It's just a really solid mount, and you should consider it if you're playing Ogres. You should really consider buying a Stonehorn or 2, even if you just want to have some fun, because it's one of the best options in this book. The Thunder Tusk, same idea, less on the movement speed. He's only a movement 6. Still gives you that +1 toughness, that +4 wounds. He's cheaper, 30 points less. The thing with the Thunder Tusk, you lose out on some impact hits. You're only D3 impact hits, but you do gain a flat 3 stomps, which is pretty solid. Still have Swift Stride, Terror. You get that Numbing Chill rule for the -1 weapon skill and initiative. Your attacks are only AP 1, however, instead of AP 2. Though they do have Armor Bane 2. And you have a breath weapon that does multiple wounds D3, but it's only strength 2. The Stonehorn is kind of the obvious winner for a number of reasons, but I do like the Thunder Tusk. I wish I saw more of them around. Just for 30 less points, it's not like it's a terrible option.
Yeah, agreed. The Thunder Tusk is totally fine. The Stonehorn is undeniably better. The -1 damage is actually huge as well. Absolutely huge. It takes so many more increments of cannons to kill a Stonehorn over a Thunder Tusk. Outside that, the combat is better. I was so worried when I saw, because of course we got the rules a little bit early. I was so worried the Stonehorn was going to have Impetuous or something like that, which would have absolutely killed it. The AP, the Unbane 2 is really nice. Like it is like on a 6, a Stonehorn is AP 4, which is really good at killing knights, like so good at killing knights. Of course, both Swiss Stride and Terror are really cute as well. And it counts as full plate armor on the Stonehorn, which we didn't note as well, as well as just heavy armor on the Thunder Tusk. So you go a 4 up versus a 5 up. They're both quality. I need to try a Thunder Tusk soon. I need to give it a go because I actually legitimately have not tried it yet. But that would be actually my call. Would be really cute to go budget bruiser Thunder Tusks. So he's just a bunch of real hard to kill dudes. They're all just toughness 6-8 wounds. They're not that killy, but they're not easy to kill at all. And just grinding people out would be really cute.
For 275, that seems like pretty decent, I think.
That's exactly right. It's 275 for 8 toughness 6 wounds. That, you just chuck a great weapon on the bruiser and you've got strength 7 great weapon attacks from there. And then you still got 4 strength 6 attacks from the Thunder Tusk plus impact hits plus stomps. Yeah, it's nice. Having flat, I actually forgot that it had flat 3 stomp attacks on the Thunder Tusk. That's actually kind of big. Yeah, it's actually kind of big. I might come back to that. All right, Ogre Bulls up next. Formerly, in years gone past, in ages gone past, beautiful 6th edition, a cornerstone of lists, and have been dropping off in perpetuity since. Will cost you 31 points for essentially the standard Ogre stat line. A movement of 6, which is fast for the game. It's pretty much only L's are faster on standard. Weapon skill 3, bliss skill 2, strength and toughness 4, 3 wounds, initiative 2, 3 attacks for 31 points. Leadership 7. Come with hand weapons and light armor. You can't give them any armor upgrades, but of course you can give them an Iron Fist for 4 points, and you should almost certainly do that. And then they go to 4 attacks a pop at 35 points with a 5-up save. And of course you can take all the usual bits and pieces upgrade-wise and can take a magical standard. They come with Armor Bane 1, which is quite cute. 4 attacks with Armor Bane is nice. Close order, fear, impact hits 1, and Ogre charge. Gents, this is a tax unit in this army, which is really funny because if you were to talk about that in anyone else's book, that's like your Dragon Ogre stat line, that's your Troll stat line. But in this book, they really just do not cut the mustard at all. What do you see as the issues with the Ogre Bulls, Peter?
5-up armor save is not good. It's not good. It's a huge investment to take enough to make ranks worth a damn in this. And it's very easy for someone to target down anything with a 5-up armor save. As someone that mained Lizardmen for a long time, ages past, and when the edition quote unquote first started, did it for a little bit. Like, there's nothing an ogre or standard ogre list hates more than seeing skinks, because they'll just eat Ogre Bulls like nothing, and you just lose all your points. But it's the same for like Empire Archers or Bretonian Peasant Bowmen. Like, they just pick up these guys and get their points back right away, which is too bad. Like, they're kind of just like a victim of the way Old World is currently played.
Exactly right. So I have tried to run a larger unit of 6 Ogre Bulls only once, and then I had a unit of 5 Knights charge them and get double their points back. The Ogre Bulls did 1 wound to them over, like, I think a 2-round combat, so 4 fights, give or take. And yeah, legitimately, I did 1 wound to them. They killed the entire unit pretty much to a man, ran down the last guy, and that was more than double their points they got. And that's the issue. Like, Cav just annihilates bulls.
Yeah, that's why these guys are bad. It's the whole army is 5-up armor save except for like the monsters and Mournfang, but like they're bad because they have no AP.
Yeah, yeah, they have all the attacks in the world, but none of it does anything.
Exactly.
Danny, tell us about Iron Guts.
Oh well, this is actually a good unit.
Very good unit.
So basically the same stat line as an Ogre Bull, except their leadership 8. And they cost 39 points. So you're looking at like a 3-point upgrade over the guys with Iron Fists. You also, instead of light armor and an Iron Fist, you have heavy armor, which is the same. And now you also get great weapons. So that seems like a pretty well spent 8 points per model. They're 3+ unit. They have all the same upgrades. You've got standard champion and musician. They can take a 50-point magic banner, and for 2 points a model, you can buy them veterans. They have close order, impact hits 1, fear, and ogre charge as special rules.
Fantastic unit.
Yeah.
I'd love to go out on a limb and say one of the best core infantry units in the game. For the points. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe that's another episode we got coming up. Maybe we'll do that next one. What is the best core infantry unit in the game? Or what are their contemporaries? But Iron Guts for 30. Exactly right, Danny. You said it perfectly. Once you buy the Iron Fist on the Bull, they are 35 points a model. So it's 4 points more. So 2 for the same armor save and a freaking great weapon. And it's absolutely gangbusters. It's so much better because they take hits very well, same as all ogres do, and they dish out like absolute mofos. The Gust Star is still alive and well, as me and Peter have through experiment discovered. Like you just take I usually take a unit of 6 of these guys, and I just chuck a killer character in there, be it a BSB that's decked out pretty well, or like my Tenderizer Lord, and this is just a unit that nobody can really look at and think they're going to walk straight through. The only time, actually, Peter, that we did have a situation where I couldn't like push this unit at somebody was when you were using the Ungrim Hammerer unit. And I was like, I am overmatched and then some.
Yeah, it's because you lose all your impact hits.
No impact hits.
You are always initiative 1, so all of those hammerers get to punch you first no matter what. It's a pretty sucky situation. That said, it's also a unit, like hammerers don't like seeing that unit anyway, because if I whiff on my hits, like I'm hitting on 3s, but all of a sudden, you're going to pound me to dust, because one of the favorite things of that hammer list or hammer unit with that banner combo is that like you're hoping to do more wounds, like so that you don't get punched back, because hammerers are like a base 5 up armor save unit that you're dealing with. So and ogre Iron Guts and with a lord of any kind in them, that's a unit that's going to punch you back more often than not. So.
And I just want to, it's time for me to talk about the biggest, and I think this is the literal biggest buff or boon, and the thing you need to leverage the most when you're playing ogres. Usually when you, let's say I'm playing that against that hammer unit, if you dealt 5 wounds to me, you would remove 5 attacks back from another 1 wound infantry squad. If you did 5 wounds to this Iron Guard unit, you've only removed 3 attacks, because there's a 1 wound Iron Guard that still retains 3 attacks in the front rank. And that is exactly everything you need to try and leverage. You need to try and leverage those margins when you play ogres, because, especially without step up, it's just huge. It's so huge. You need that mileage. Danny, tell us about the Lead Belchers, one of my former favorite units, and now I've taken them once. And
are they dead to you now, Adam? Is that what you're saying?
They're pretty dead, man. They're pretty dead, and it's a bit sad.
So Lead Belchers have exactly the same profile as an Ogre Bull, except they have Ballistic Skill 3. The champion has Ballistic Skill 4. They're 41 points a model, and it's 8 points for a champion and 6 points for a musician. Any unit can buy a veteran for 2 points a model. They have the Close Order, Fear, Impact Hits 1, and Ogre Charge special rules. And they have Lead Belcher guns and light armor as standard. Now, keep in mind, these guys are 2+. So you can take a unit of 2 if you so desire for some reason. So their gun. The Lead Belcher gun is 2 different fire modes. So it has a 24, the solid shot is 24 inches, strength 5, -2 AP, with armor bane 1, cumbersome, and multiple wounds 2. That sounds great on the surface. And then you have scatter shot, which is 18 inches, strength 3, no AP, and armor bane 1. Now, if you hit with the scatter shot, you do D3 hits instead of just 1. So if you hit, that's the key there. And with Ballistic Skill 3, and none of these things are getting any kind of, they don't ignore like long range penalties or anything like that. So at best, you're hitting on 5s like most of the time with both of these weapons.
Yep.
Probably like 7s with the solid shot.
Correct. And this is the inherent issue with Lead Belchers. Formerly, they used to have D6 shots each, which was pretty busto.
It was pretty bad. I hate it.
But they had inbuilt rules that ignored the penalty for moving and shooting and for multiple shots. So they pretty much always hit on 5s unless your opponent was in cover, which made them worth it. So now they have nothing to prevent that. So they're a Bliss Skill 3 unit that is expensive at 41 points. So let's put it like this. How many points is a Glade Rider or a single archer?
Well, like a Glade Guard without anything is 13, 12? 13 points.
12 was my...
Yeah, so you get 3 of those for the price of 1 lead belcher and then a couple of spare points. And they have 3 shots, whereas this guy has 1 shot at 24 inches. They have 3 shots at longer if they have the longbows. This shot is better, but they have Bliss Skill 4. This has Bliss Skill 3. The shot is so good. Like, I looked at the solid shot and I'm like, that has to be good, right? Strength 5, AP 2, Armor Bane, multi-wounds 2. Holy crap, that has to be good. And then I realized my opponent can just stop me shooting the unit I want to shoot by putting any other unit in front of it. And then I'm hitting on 7s or 8s. And so pretty much I took these guys. I don't know if they got off 1 good volley. Yeah, because you're looking at like 82 points for 2 shots.
Yep.
2 shots for 82 points.
One of my first games of Old World, I played against like an old Ogre Kingdoms list, and my good friend ran a unit of like 5 lead belchers, and he ran them 5 wide. He shot, he got like 3 rounds of shooting off with them. He killed literally 0 things.
Yep.
He's like,
correct.
He was either hitting on 6s or 7s all the time, or like that just wasn't good targets. And it's real shitty.
Straight up. They just do not throw enough. It's fine if they're going to have crappy ballistic skill. They need to throw more dice per point is the issue.
Mm-hmm.
Like 41 points to roll 1 dice to hit on a best of 5 is just not good enough return for the points. You get freaking war machines for the same points as the minimum squad of lead belchers.
Yeah.
I'd rather have an Iron Blaster, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Iron Blaster is quite a few more points, but yeah, you're correct. You're 100% you're taking Iron Blaster. Petey Baby, Nobbler Trappers.
Nibbler Trappers. This is a 5-point model. They're weapon skill 2. They're strength 2. They're ballistic skill 3, toughness 3, initiative 3. They have throwing weapons and hand weapons because they got sharp stuff. Their special rules, large and insignificant, which we already covered. Move through cover. Scouts, skirmishers, and traps and snares. Traps and snares is any enemy model that ends a charge move in base contact with a model with this special rule must take a dangerous terrain test. They're really cute. Because they're only 5 points, you can run like a pretty decent number of them as speed bumps, especially with Scout. They're core choice, so even just running like minimum squads and kind of penning in like a prison system your opponent isn't a terrible idea. I like them.
I like them a lot. I've started replacing my Saber Tusks in my list with Nobbler Trappers. I still end up taking like some Saber Tusks, but instead of having 3 units of 2 to 3 or more Saber Tusks, I've been taking quite a few of those out. Maybe have 1 unit of Saber Tusks, 2 units of Nobbler Trappers, because they still scout in front, so they still have the modus operandi to go and be redirectors and chaff them up and get in the way. And you can still deploy them in marching column and then just yeet them up the table to block movement and buy yourself a turn. For 50 points, I think they're really good. And then every now and then someone charges them and you loses a couple of guys and you laugh at them.
So you can't do that, the marching column thing.
Oh, sorry, it's the other one. Sorry, it's the Nobbler.
It's the other guys, yeah. Nobbler Trappers are only skirmishers. They have to be in skirmish formation all the time. But you get all those other benefits, so.
Yeah. I like him. I like him a lot. 50 points. I think they're fantastic. Man-Eaters is up next. These guys are essentially your Ogre Bulls on roids. They come at 54 points a model, which is a lot. Movement 6, weapon skill and ballistic skill 4, which is great for Ogres because that's pretty much the only infantry unit in this book. That's actually the only non-character thing in this book that has better than weapon skill 3. Strength 5 base, toughness 4, 3 wounds, initiative 3, 4 attacks each, leadership 8. They come as a unit of 2+, so you can go with 108 points if you just want to take the 2. They can take all the usual upgrades, additional hand weapons, never taken that, but Iron Fist and Great Weapons are both very good options. A la in previous editions, people used to take units of 6 of these guys with double brace of pistols. That is still a thing you can do, but it'll cost you 12 freaking extra points. So you'll be looking at 66 points a model for a brace of Ogre pistols. And then you can take light armor with heavy armor, and all of a sudden we're at 69 points, which if you're going to do that, you need to say nice, everybody.
Nice.
Nice.
Captain can take the captain, right? This is so cute, and I love this, and I've done this before. Man-eater captain can take 50 points of magic items. He's literally a mini bruiser. He's 61 points when you take the man-eater captain upgrade, and then you can take 50 points of magic items. And so I've taken this guy with the what's the AP2 magic sword?
Blade?
The biting blade. With he has 5 attacks at strength 5 with AP2. It's really good. It's actually really, really good to just hide in a squad and you're like, surprise, I was a character the whole time. You can take the usual stuff. You 50-point magic banner. I do actually really, like I said before, taking them with Iron Fist, heavy armor, and the Razor Standard. And they've got 5 attacks each with Armor Bane 3. And you just get in there and start blending and just rolling for 6s. And then you can take 2 of the following special rules. Immune to Psychology, Poison Attacks, Stubborn, or Vanguard. And then they have Close Order, Fear, Impact Hits, Motley Crew, and Ogre Charge. Motley Crew being, it lets you mix and match the kit on your units. I have not found yet a reason to mix and match the kit outside of taking like 2 great weapons in a unit of like 6 guys. And I only did that once, and I realized it was half my army, and I didn't do it again. Boys, how do you feel about man-eaters?
I like them. They're very expensive. I mean, durability wise, they're not really more durable than like any other Ogre infantry unit, which is their big downside. But offensively, they just rock the socks out of any other Ogre unit.
Mm-hmm.
Except for maybe like Mornfang or something. Yeah.
I love it. Every time I try to kind of fiddle with an Ogre list, the first thing I do is like, what can I do with man-eaters today? Even though like they might not be optimal, in my mind they are. Because like every unit of them is just like you said, they're like mini characters, right? That strength 5 base, 4 attacks base. The fact that the captain can take the 50 points, like Armor of Silvered Steel is really cool to give them a 3-up armor save. And then you don't have to pay any of the extra points for the armor upgrades if you want. You can give them something else. Like there's a lot of really cool combos. Poison attacks with that many attacks is not something to sneeze at. Neither is Vanguard. Like you can run a pure Vanguard list with Ogres that's terrifying. With man-eaters as like your anchor unit. I love them.
I have run a single unit of 4 man-eaters with great weapons and poison attacks, and that was sick and terrifying. Like strength 7, 4 attacks each with poison. So you just because your weapon skill isn't great, it's still 4. It's fine. But it's not fantastic, and a lot of time you're just hitting on 4s in the vast majority of situations. But just poison attacks. Here's my bucket. Here's my bucket of attacks. You will just like actually threaten shit like dragons. You'll actually scare dragons. It's really funny. Not that they should be. Like legitimately, the dragons actually shouldn't be scared. But you tell them what the unit can do, and they think that they can't handle it, but they can. Vanguard, Stubborn, Poison Attacks, and Immune to Psychology. The only one I've never taken is Immune to Psychology, because I do like the option to flee, even with everything. How do you boys feel about the other combinations?
I mean, I love them all. I like even Stubborn's great. Like there's like always this idea in my head of starting a marching column with a captain in the front with that's decked out to survive something, and just shove them up 18 inches and say, okay, if you charge me, it's fine. I'm stubborn. My captain's probably not going to die. And if he does, nothing else dies. And then when I Fabigo, when I fall back in good order, I get my free reform. So I'm going to reform into a formation that's going to mess up your day. I like that idea a lot. Vanguard's great because movement's good. Poison attacks is great because you don't have to roll as many dice.
Only thing I'll say is if you're going to try my Iron Fist build with the Razor Standard, you can't take poison attacks because they forego the armor bane that you're seeking. So don't go doing that. All right, Noblar Fighters, Peter. Or just do the Trappers. Danny, Noblar Fighters.
Okay, I can talk about Noblar Fighters. So Noblar Fighters are the big ranked up units of Noblars. They're pretty inexpensive. You're looking at 2 points a model. When I say pretty, I mean maybe the most inexpensive unit in the game. Their movement 4, weapon skill 2, ballistic skill 3, strength 2, toughness 3, initiative 3, leadership 5, They have the close order, horde, and largely insignificant special rules. And then they have sharp stuff, which they have throwing weapons. You can buy them a champion if you want, and you have to buy 20 of them. I don't think they're terrible. I think they're cool. There's some stuff going here. I mean, I'm not using them to like actually fight stuff. I'm using them as chaff.
Yeah, like I said, I take him, start him in marching column, shoot him at my opponent, and try and get my Mornfang in position.
Hear me out, guys.
What I've been doing. No. Yeah.
Hear me out. Why aren't we still doing 1001 Noblars? So for those listening at home, if you aren't a grognard, there was a list in the old days when Noblars were 2.5 points each and events ran at 2,500 points, where there's a famous player that chose to bring 1001 Noblars because they do have throwing weapons. So back then, I believe they were 12 inches. Now it's a 6-inch range weapon. Yep. But still, like if you want to talk line hammer, how many Noblars can you run from one edge of the table to the other and just say, please charge this? I don't care how much charges it, because every unit is like 60 points. I'm just going to throw hundreds of forks and knives at you, and we're going to see what happens. And then I'm going to do it again.
And one groin biter that needs to be on shield bearers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's cute.
And it is the best named champion in the game, by the way. The groin biter. Absolutely fantastic.
It's pretty good.
I mean, there was some time back in high school never mind. Yetis is up next. Who just did Peter?
I did. Yeti. I did in fighters. It's Peter's up.
Yetis. Yetis, they're cool. Just fucking cool. Their movement 7. Weapon skill 3. Ballistic skill 0, which is cool because they don't have a weapon anyway to do that. Strength 5. Toughness 4. Initiative 4. 3 attacks each. Leadership 7. 46 points. Seems pretty steep. But they've got a couple things going for them. One, they have armored hide, so they do have a 6-up armor save. That's not going for them. They can be upgraded to have scouts. That is a good thing. Or vanguard. They have the fear special rule. They have move through cover. They have that numbing chill special rule we talked about earlier. But probably most importantly, they have swift stride. And their weapons are base AP1 with armor bane and magical attacks. They are flammable, which is a bit of a downside, but this is a very fast moving unit that you can upgrade to be even faster. And I like that.
What does flammable even do here?
I mean, nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have flaming attacks, don't they take double wounds from it?
No. It just removes regen saves.
Yeah. Doesn't do it.
Are you sure it doesn't do anything? I think it counts for double combat res or something now, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't. Unless they've backed it and I haven't seen flammable.
No, you're right. It's the old.
There's literally nothing. There's no reason for it to be there apart from.
So they're flammable. Actually, it does. Sorry, guys, because you can give them regen from.
From the spell.
Troll guts. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I would love to. I love it when I see a Blessed Skill 0 unit, because to me it means like they haven't learned how to throw a rock yet. Like they pick it up and you're just like, huh? No idea what to do. But
they're really bad in snowball fights, surprisingly.
Horrific. I was in love with Yeti early on. I've dropped off a little bit just because of the points cost. If this was a 40-point unit instead of a 46-point model, but the Vanguard is so good. Vanguard with Swift Stride movement 7 is sick. And it's a unit that hits. They got 3 attacks each at good initiative. When your opponent is -1 initiative and you are initiative 4 base, it's actually good, especially good. It's really good in this book. So I'm middle of the road with Yetis. I'm going to have to come back around to them and give them a go again. I got bad touched by Peter, and then in the next game I got bad touched again because they went in and they didn't do a damn thing. But yeah, I do love the all Vanguard, all Scout Ogre army, and I think that army at least has 2 units of Yetis in it. But yeah, overall, yeah, like I said, I'm mid with Yetis, but I think they can be played really, really well, and I just need to get better at them. All right, Danny, Saber Tusks.
So Saber Tusks are a unit of war beasts. They're movement 8, weapon skill 4, strength and toughness 4, 2 wounds, initiative 4, 2 attacks, leadership 6. It's 17 points a model. You can buy them ambushers for 3 points, scouts for 2 points, or vanguard. Keep in mind, this is the ambusher special rule, the scout special rule, and the vanguard special rule. So you can only do this with one unit. They have Armor Bane 1, Fear, Impetuous, Loner, Move Through Cover, Open Order, Skirmishers, and Swift Stride. So you have a lot of options here for how you want this unit to operate. Typically speaking, this is like, their unit size is 2 to 10. So it's a really great unit. It's a really great trap unit, except for the fact that they have Impetuous. If they didn't have that, they'd be the perfect chaff unit.
Correct.
With it, they're like fine at killing little stuff. They still have a lot of attacks.
In just about every game I play, I have to start my Saber Tusk like 6 inches back from the line because my opponents have gotten good at just like making me use and get all my Saber Tusks to declare dumb charges immediately, and then I lose all my my redirectors and chaff. And so that's the reason that they've been dropping out of my list. Like the better my opponent is, the worse my Saber Tusks are.
Sure.
And my opponents tend to be getting pretty good. But like for the stat line for 17 points, they are totally fine. Like movement 8, freaking skirmishes, swift stride, move through cover is fantastic for 2 attacks and strength 4 with Armor Bane. And of course, all the good special rules. You never buy ambush. Never, ever, ever. So there, get it out of there. Delete it. Ambush is deleted from my mind because this book has zero ability to interact with that rule or make things ambush more better. But Scout and Vanguard are both premium choices. Take the one that makes sense to you. Anything to add, anybody?
No, I think you nailed it, man.
Yep.
Mournfang, let's go. Pretty much inarguably the best unit in the book. That isn't a character. 64 points though. And so this is your heavy cav. They come with a 4th wound above and beyond what they had in the past of 3 wounds. They are only weapon skill 3 on both the mount and the rider. Ability skill 2, strength 4 for the rider, strength 5 for the mount, toughness 4 wounds, initiative 2 all the way down. 3 attacks from both the rider and the mount. So remember what I said before about, if you dealt 5 wounds to a Mournfang unit, you've deleted 6 attacks rather than 12 attacks. I'll still have 6 attacks per Mournfang combo. They come with hand weapons and light armor, but you'll never be leaving them like that because they can take great weapons, iron fists, heavy armor, and all that good stuff. They come with armored hides, so fully decked up with iron fists. They will have a 3-up armor save, 4-up if you take the great weapons, which I think is a totally fine choice, by the way. Yeah. I have been experimenting more with the great weapon units, and I actually think they're pretty good. Especially seeing as iron fists and great weapons are the same points cost. You can take, of course, for some reason you take a brace of ogre pistols on the crusher. Never do that. And magic items of 25 points. Also, the biting blade can make a little bit of a shine here with 4 attack. Not too bad. And then 1,000 points. So you can take a 50-point magic banner. They come with armored hide, like I said, close to order fear. D3 impact hits, which we know will be at AP 1 with Armor Bane, and Mournfang charge and swift stride. And in combat, you will have 3 attacks at strength 5 from the Mournfang beastie itself, which will be AP 1 and Armor Bane as well. So same as its impact hits. This unit is a house. And I have found pretty much every game that I've won with Ogres has come off how well I've used my Mournfang. When my Mournfang get charged, they make me very sad. And when my Mournfang charged, they eat everything that isn't a dragon in the game. How do you boys feel about him?
I mean, they're like my priority unit to have an answer to whenever I play into them. As you've seen, Adam, I tend to try to to neuter them as early as I possibly can. To so far decent success, but the times I've failed, it has hurt real bad. Because whether it's a 4-up or 3-up armor save, the fact that they have 4 wounds each. I mean, if you compare these to a Dragon Ogre Shartak, which is a very competitive unit that you see quite frequently in other lists, they hold up so well.
Yeah.
A Shartak has a 3-up armor save with its great weapon, 4 wounds. These guys are sitting at 6 attacks instead of his 4. 7 attacks on the champion for only a few more points. Yeah, definitely a solid unit, and 100% the best unit in the book.
I mean, each model can have potentially, it has between 7 and 9 attacks when they charge, which is insane. Like for that frontage for 150 millimeters, like for just 3, and I'm not talking about like 5 or 4 or whatever, because those are great choices too. That's great. Movement 8 with Swift Stride, also really good.
Yep.
That can't be understated enough. That's faster than most other heavy cavalry by an inch. They're durable. I'm glad they're not toughness 5. I'm really glad they're not toughness 5. But yeah, like Peter said, this is a unit you keep your eye on. You have to know what to do against them. Like you can't, and they're going to try and bully you, and they will bully you because they'll kill you.
Yeah, and this is the issue I always have. Man-Eaters 54. Yeah. Mournfang 64. Mournfang are virtually twice as fast because they have Swift Stride when they need to charge. So they're faster on the table and they make charges more effectively. They have a better save, more attacks, more wounds, and that's always my issue. I love putting in units of like 4 Man-Eaters, and then I realize I can have, once I've costed up everything I want to put on the Man-Eaters, I could just have 4 Mournfang. And I'm just like, shit. I guess I'm taking the Mournfang. But straight up, I've been playing around with Empire right now, and the Crusher, the 71 point Ogre champion in this unit, is better than a general of the Empire on a Demigryph. Straight up, with a great weapon, straight up he's better. Like, it's not even arguable. Like, it's wild to me. So many more attacks, like when you counter in the impact hits, almost as durable, like, and just so much more explosive with a great weapon, especially. But yeah, if you want a competitive Ogre list, it has to start with like at least 1 unit of 4 Mournfang, in my opinion.
You probably should be 2, but yes.
Yeah. And do you fill out the rest of the list, and then you see if you justify if it's a 3 or a 4 is the second one. And here we go. Petey Baby, Iron Blaster.
Man, Iron Blasters, 185 points. It's a heavy chariot. Strength 5, toughness 6. It's got 5 wounds. He's got little guys on his back. He's got a little Noblar Scrapper trying to do his best. There's a Rhinox that's pushing it, movement 6. And there's a Lead Belcher. He's probably the only one you're ever going to run in your list. It comes equipped with the Cannon of the Sky Titans, which is such a it's got a 4+ armor save. Everyone forgets that the Noblar Scrapper can also throw some stuff when you're shooting, so keep that in mind, guys. That strength.
Don't miss that. That's fork to the eye hole.
Yeah. Special rules. It's got Armor Bane 2 on the Rhinox. It causes fear. It has first charge. D6+1 impact hits at AP2 because it's a heavy chariot. It's a large target, unfortunately, so people can shoot it. The Cannon of the Sky Titans is effectively a great cannon, except only a 36-inch range. So strength 10, AP3, Armor Bane 2. It has the cannon fire rule, which just means it shoots like a cannon. Cumbersome, so you can't stand and shoot with it, and multiple wounds D3+1. It also has the option to scatter shot. However, it doesn't use the cool scatter shot that other cannons get. It's just a breath weapon. And its misfire table is slightly different. On a 1, you lose your 185 point chariot. On a 2 or a 3, you can no longer shoot the cannon for the rest of the game, so it's just a chariot. And on a 4 to 6, you lose the ability to shoot for 2 turns. The turn that it happened and the next one, which really sucks. Don't roll misfires. In Adam and I's first game we ever played against each other, or maybe it was your game against Val that I was watching. One or the other. Both Iron Blasters misfired round 1, and both became just chariots. I thought that was appropriate.
It ceased to be cannons, but then one of my Iron Blasters proceeded to charge a big unit of Night Goblins, hit it in the flank with first charge, therefore breaking the unit of Night Goblins by going through. And then I got to Edie's level 4, which was fucking hilarious.
Just silly old world things.
Did so much more without the cannon than it ever could have done with the cannon. It was really good. Anyway, 185 points is the yikes here. 185. I mean, if you made it cheaper, you would just auto windmill slam 2 of them into every list. 185 points means that, like, man, it's 370 to take 2 of them. And whilst they are good, like a toughness 6, 5 wound, 4 up save chariot is wild. Like nothing really one turns these things in combat. They are actually perfectly serviceable to just ram into something when you don't have a good cannon target and just use it as a chariot. Totally fine. D6 +1, strength 5, AP 2 impact hits is as good as it kind of gets for chariots. And I really think it's totally fine. It's just 185 points, whether you can justify it or not.
So a couple of things about this that I really like about the shooting aspect of it. It's a large target and a chariot, right?
Correct.
So you can shoot over you can't screen out cannonballs from this thing like you could a normal cannon, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And you can shoot at 360, so you can have it pointed at the charge target, right? And then still shoot the cannon at something that's important.
Yeah, exactly. You can always have your frontage facing
where you need to be.
Yeah, where you need to be. And so it has a lot of things going for it. But man, it is pricey. It is so pricey. And once again, we come back to the fact that you can almost get 3 Mournfang for the cost.
A little slow, too.
Yeah,
that was my other complaint.
Yeah.
But compared to like a Gorby's Chariot for Chaos, which is the same movement speed, it's 50 less points, but +1 toughness, and you get a cannon.
Yeah. It's fair. Yeah. I mean, it's not trash in combat. It's still got an Ogre and the Rhinox, like a single 5 strength 3 attack. So it's 3 strength 5 attacks with a couple armor band on there. So it's not bad at all. All right, Noblast Scrap Launcher, 140 points, so 45 less. 1 less toughness than the Iron Blaster, the same amount of wounds of 5. Doesn't have the Ogre pulling it, so it doesn't have the Ogre attacks, but still has the same Rhinox attacks. Armor Bane 2, same as pretty much exactly the same special rules. The Scrap Launcher Catapult is 12 to 48 inch range, strength 3, strength 4 under the hull, AP nothing or AP 2 under the hull, bombardment, so no line of sight required, cumbersome, and multiple wounds 2. Shoots like a stone thrower with a 5-inch blast template, which is quite nice, and has its own misfire table. Multiple wounds 2 only applies to a single model under the hull. So it is just a strength 3 large blast with no AP, apart from 1 guy. And then it has, I believe, exactly the same misfire table as the other one. As in a 1, it's dead. 2 to 3, it's no longer a catapult. And 4 to 5, can't shoot this turn or next. Yeah. I was really high on the Scrap Launcher for a little bit. For the same reasons that I was like, well, I can just take, if I'm just going to use this as a chariot that can shoot like once or twice before I send it in, why don't I take the 45-point cheaper one? But then I shot it a couple of times and realized the cannon at least does things. This doesn't do anything because there's no units in the game that are threatened by this because no one plays blocks of infantry. And if they did, this would feel really good. How do you boys feel?
Yeah, I think you nailed it. I mean, unless you're playing against a bunch of Night Goblin units, like this doesn't do much, right? Strength 3, AP 0. If this had the same stat line as like an Empire Mortar, where at least it had some AP on it base,
correct,
then I would say, yeah, give it a go. It's going to kill some stuff on its way in. But, I mean, it's fine. 140 points is not much more expensive than a standard chariot, like you kind of mentioned. So if you're looking for a chariot, it's not terrible.
And, like, it gives you the option. The only other thing I would say is that Leadership 5 really sucks. So you have to kind of babysit it.
Yeah, exactly right. Whereas at least I feel like the Iron Blaster can sit off on a flank by itself and maybe just leave it in BSB range. Or
at least it's 50-50, right? Like to pass Leadership test probably on Leadership 7.
All right, we're into our last couple here. Danny, Stonehorn Riders. There's kind of not a lot to speak here, but go for it.
Yeah. So just imagine if you took the Mount Stonehorn that we talked about before. You took off the good character and you put on 2 ogres that added 2 wounds to it instead of 4 or 5. So movement 7, strength and toughness 6 wounds, 4 attacks from the Stonehorn. And then it has 6 other ogre bull attacks effectively from the other guys. It's 245 points. You get a chain trap, which we'll go over in a second, on one of the guys, and a harpoon launcher on the other crew member. It has the rules, and you can replace the chain trap with a blood vulture. That is like the coolest band name ever.
It is. Man, I wish the blood vulture was actually good, but anyway.
And then the harpoon launcher for 8 points if you would like. So you could do double poon on this guy if you want.
Double poon.
But I wouldn't recommend it. He has Armor Bane 2 on the Stonehorn, Close Order, First Charge, Howdah, so you can shoot 360, which is nice. Impact hits D6+1, large target, Stone Skeleton, which is a great rule, Swift Stride, Terror, and Thunderous Charge. So the Chain Trap is a 12-inch range, Strength +1 with Killing Blow, ranged attack. Okay, with no special rules, no move or shoot, or no quick shot. Unlike the Blood Vulture, the Chad Blood Vulture, who has 36-inch range, Strength 4, -1 AP, ignores cover, move and shoot, and quick shot. So you can march and shoot this bad boy. I'm on Team Blood Vulture here, Adam.
Of the suite of awful rules attached to this, hell yeah, Blood Vulture.
Yeah, dude.
So hear me out. Listen to this. Have you seen the chain trap on this model? How is it AP nothing? I get Killing Blow.
I know.
I get Killing Blow. It should have Killing Blow.
All right,
dude. There are literal sticks that have AP in this game, like straight up sticks.
And this is a bear trap designed for fucking monster bears.
I'm gonna push back on this. I have a good reason. Do you know how hard it is to throw a bear trap at someone and hit them with it? Like, it's just gonna be like a big rock. Like
my first Dungeons and Dragons character I ever built, his weapon was a bear trap on a chain. It was not effective, but man, it was awesome. And I mean,
at the end of the day, like at worst, it's a flail.
Yeah, like, exactly.
Flails have AP. Flails have AP, baby.
AP2. This should have AP2 in close combat. Like,
yeah,
this
it should be able to be used in close combat. That would be cool.
It could, it should.
Instead, it's like a shitty fishing rope. And
so it's also the most breakable thing on the model.
Absolutely. Really oh, dude. It's fuck me. I used to have like 3 Stonehorns, and Jesus Christ, they broke instantly. All right, I will say a couple of good things about the Stonehorn. So it is 195 points for the mount to upgrade onto a character. It's 50 more points to put 2 ogres on that instead of the character. And the cheapest character you put on there is 110 points. So you're saving 60 points if you look at it like if you're just going to be really savage and just look at the points per whatever. You're losing out on a character, which would have added wounds, but for 50 less points, you can just put 2 idiots on it, and so much the better. In my opinion, take it as cheap as possible, despite the Blood Vulture being kind of cute, actually. 5
points, guys.
It's only cute when you compare it to the other bad options, right? Keep them as cheap as you can, and they're totally fine. They're actively fine. It's just that it's got so many less wounds, so much less killing ability. You'd only ever take them if you're already taking other Stonehorn riders.
I'm into double poon.
Double poon.
Double poon guy.
If you're going to take double poon, though, if you're going to take double poon, you do it on the Thunder Tusk, right?
Yeah,
it's just
I'm there with that.
Yeah.
Because like double poon, let's say someone charges you, right? There is like a 1 in 3 chance that they could take D3 like multiple wounds. And what if you hit with both? Like, that's the lottery dream. And like some guy loses 6 wounds from you, just being like, gotta respect the poon.
You've got a point there, Peter.
Yeah, but you would do it on a Thunder Tusk, right? Because it's literally just like 30 points cheaper.
But you're never taking the.
Why am I going to take a Thunder Tusk when I can take a double poon
Stonehorn that actually does other stuff in combat? Anyway.
So I actually thought about, once I analyzed the meta, I thought there might be a reason to take a double poon Thunder Tusk. Well, I didn't know it was double poon then, but I thought if the meta existed at enough of a breakpoint, that -1 weapon skill, -1 initiative would be a breakpoint for whatever Ogre armor ended up taking. I was like, just a relatively shooty based Thunder Tusk walking up alongside my army, shooting a couple of shots and then charging in and debuffing like a problem unit could be quite cute for 215 points. That meta has not eventuated. Straight up. Nope.
Well, hold on. He's not 215, Adam. He's 223.
That's right, because you are going to double poon.
You got to pay for poon.
You got to pay for poon. So it doesn't come cheap. 8 points per poon.
I'm going to have to censor this episode. I'm going to have to hit the check box.
We're talking about harpoons? What are you talking about?
I don't know. Yeah, man. We're talking about the premium poonage weapon. Anyway, Thunder Tusk, yeah, they are. Whatever. We're moving on. You know what they do.
I mean,
Giants,
it's the same thing as the character one, and
it's exactly
just like we talked about the differences between the Thunder Tusk and the Stonehorn and the character mount. Like the same things apply here. Same points.
Correct.
It's 215.
Yeah. So you saving 30 points. All right, Peter, Gigantes.
Giants.
We've reviewed Giants on this show before, so please feel free to keep it brief.
Okay, it's the same as everybody else's Giant. He's 200 points. You got a cool Giant attack table. He's 6s across the board, except for the stuff that's important. Like you can pick up stuff and put it in your pockets, put it in your mouth. It's the greatest unit in the game, and everyone should run as many of them as they're allowed to, but no one will because
I'd like to point out that they're one of the only unrestricted choices.
Correct.
So you can take as many Giants as you can as you have points for in your rare
Giants.
slots.
2.5.
You take 2.5 Giants every day of the week.
Fair enough. All right, gorgeous. 90 points for essentially a character. It is movement 6, weapon skill 3 only, which is yikes. But strength and toughness 5, 4 wounds, initiative 2, 4 attacks, leadership 8. They come with the option to upgrade to Scout or Vanguard, and you should definitely do one of those. They have ambushes, never do that. Closed Order, Fear, Frenzy, Ravenous Hunger, Regen 6-up, Swift Stride, and Unbreakable. So, Vanguard 6, Swift Stride, quite cute. When a Gorger declares a charge, it may reroll its charge, also very cute. It is AP 2 in combat with its 4 attacks, and because that's Frenzy, it has another one, and one of those attacks must be used with its Dissensible Jaws. It must try and take a numb out of you. Which has a strength 5, no AP, killing blow. I don't get why its teeth aren't sharp. So you're telling me that the claws are sharp, but the teeth ain't. The teeth get no AP. So being bit by this guy is nowhere near as hard as being pinched by this guy. Gorges are sick. I actually quite like Gorges. Previously, Danny, you were talking about Hunters for 115, just being like a solo.
Yeah,
character.
I'd rather just run this. I guess the Hunter is more controllable.
Exactly right. This guy does have Frenzy. It is 25 less points. Well, when you factor in the Vanguard or the Scout, it is legitimately when if you don't kit the Hunter, the Gorger kills way harder than the Hunter.
Oh yeah,
way harder. And that's the thing,
Swift
right?
Stride and Unbreakable. Unbreakable is the thing that is frustrating about the Gorgers. They only have 4 wounds, but because with Scout, you're often getting them where you want to go anyway, or even if you just Vanguard them, because movement 6 is fast enough. You're often getting to pick their battles, and you're going to tie up stuff for at least 1 or 2 turns easily with these guys. It's very rare that you one-shot the Gorger.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was going to say, Peter. You read my mind. Unless you have a character in base-to-base with them, there's not a ton of units that can do 4 toughness 5 wounds to a model. So you're almost always going to get 2 rounds of combat with them at minimum.
Cav with lances, Cav that needs to charge, hitting them with a Gorger, that you just nullify the unit completely. Just completely gone. They're going to win you on 5s or 6s, and you're just going to laugh at them. And every now and then you're going to kill a couple of guys, and it's going to feel really good.
One time out of 3 wounds that they put through, you're also going to save it because with light armor and 6-up regen. Yeah. And he doesn't care about the combat rest that he's giving up with the regen.
Yep. So the only thing I will say about Gorges is that you guys remember Beyblades? Yeah. Remember how the kids would be buying Beyblades for, and pretending like they would be able to control them once they pulled the ripcord? Mm-hmm. That's how I feel about a Gorger. I scout it or Vanguard it into position, and that better be a good position. Because as soon as I have a charge, I'm only pretending to control the Gorger from there on else. It's just going to do its thing.
You're scouting him, turning him backwards and stuff. I really like that. Yeah.
I have done this. But I love Gorges. 90 points is possibly a little high when in some matchups people will just slap him with a fireball and oops, he's dead. But I still think it's pretty sick. All right.
I do also like that he's close order.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I freaking love Gorger. All right. That is it for the units. We're into the big names. Peter, take it away. We're going to hit our rhythm. Peter, Danny, Adam. Peter, Danny, Adam. Let's go.
Peter, big name. So, guys, everybody has a special thing that makes them unique. And ogres, it's big names. These are like extra magic items that ogres get. And what it is essentially your ogre character did something so cool that everybody gave him a nickname. And that nickname makes him even more powerful just because it's a cool nickname. Like my nickname is the Falcon, and that made me capable of flight and being cool. Ogre big names, very similar. So the first one is the Maw Seeker. It's 30 points. Those tough enough to survive the pilgrimage to the Great Maw often return, part of themselves, eaten away. That's gross. But these models, they have to be infantry. If they are, they get +1 to their toughness characteristic. However, they're also stupid, which makes this one stupid because this is a leadership 9 army, often sometimes 8 if you're unlucky. Boo, Maw Seeker.
It would have been cool.
It could have been. When you put guys in with veterans, only allow you the unit to reroll, not the characters that are attached, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, that's okay, cool.
Yeah.
So Mountain Eater is the next one for 25 points. Models whose troop type is infantry only. This character cannot be wounded on its wound roll of 2, regardless of the strength of the attack. Yeah, not bad. Not great.
It's a number. The fact that you're toughness 5, only a cannon. Yeah. Strength 7 and above are the only thing that's winning you on 2s.
Yep.
So yeah, this I've just found math-wise, this just doesn't add up.
And this is a guy that ate part of a mountain.
I know.
And they're just like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the guy who eats rocks is like, what? He's got a stomach full of rocks, so bullets bounce off of him?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly
Cannonballs bounce off him.
All right, here is the probable best one, or arguably best one. This is Giant Breaker for 20 points, +1 strength on the character, but not their mount. However, cannot refuse a challenge, and neither they nor any unit they have joined can flee as a charge reaction. This is just a good on that Gutmore tyrant I was talking about that always wants to be in a challenge anyway. This is just a good call. How do you boys feel about it?
It's fine. I think it's fine. It's 20 points. +1 strength, 20 points. Seems good.
Right.
This is a cool part of a lot of combos, I feel like. Like you can make otherwise magic weapons that don't seem so cool. Like this and a biting blade is like actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep. Sorry, apologies. I misspoke. The next one is the best one.
I was going to say, I think that this one is good, but Kin Eater is very good.
Take it away.
Yeah, you're the Kin Eater.
I am. So, having achieved their rank by killing and eating a member of their own family in a pit fight, Kin Eaters are considered ruthless even by their own tribe. This can only be on your army general. That's fine. So unless they're fleeing, all friendly models within their command range may reroll all failed panic or rally tests. This is great for 15 points. This is super duper.
Lets you dodge a BSB tax.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't take a BSB. Take a Kin Eater. Eat your sister or your brother, uncle.
So,
can be anybody, really. Cousin.
As the resident Kin Eater on the show, Peter, which of your family members could you take in a pit fight and then eat?
Oof.
Keep in mind, I'm going to send your sister a copy of this.
Yeah, 100%.
I 100% could not take out my sister. She's, I don't know. I've got a couple like really young, like second cousins. I'm pretty sure worst comes to worst.
An infant.
We went there, guys.
Shit.
We went there.
Oh, delicious.
Danny.
Deal. All right, so we got Long Strider for 10 points here. Models with you have to be infantry to take this. You get +1 movement.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. I've yet to take it. I don't see the point. Beast Killer's up next for 5 points. Once per turn, this character may reroll a single fail to hit. Single fail to wound roll made against an enemy model with the large target special rule. So this doesn't specify fighting or
it does not,
or shooting. Mm-hmm. So technically, you can reroll this wound.
Take it on your double poon.
Yeah, you can reroll your poon wound.
You could take 3 hunters with harpoon launchers too, and just have them in your like little war machines.
Yeah.
Could you use this on a fireball?
Yeah.
Hey, we're cooking.
That's cool.
It is.
That's
it is
cool.
You can use it on magic missile, and that's kind of my Adam's big little secret tech that I have.
It'd be
used.
cooler on a
Big
wind
little-
blast, Adam.
That's
what I mean. Yeah,
Cool
just
on something with
magic-
AP.
Yeah, magic missile. The best magic missile you can get. Slap this down.
Sorry for being pedantic.
That's fine. Whatever. Shut up. The last one.
Peter.
Is it
the
me?
rhythm.
Oh shit!
Peter, get your head in the
Sorry.
game
The rhythm-
and out of the
My
kin
rhythm
eating.
is off. Death Cheater for 5 points. An ogre that has escaped certain doom is considered blessed by the Great Wall. Not surprisingly, Death Cheaters tend to have impressive scars. Once per game, you can force an opponent to reroll a single to wound roll made against this character.
It's 5 points. If you got 5 points, sure.
Take
Chuck
Beast Killer. If you got
Take-
5
yeah,
points, take
correct.
Beast Killer.
If you have 5 more points,
Take a great
Drop
weapon on somebody that you didn't yet.
drop Beast Killer and do something better with your 10 points. Yeah. All right. But yeah, as for all the ogre big names, Giant Breaker and Kin Eater are the only 2 I've ever taken. I wish the others felt better. For 30 points, I'm not sure More Seeker should have a downside. Like for 30 points, More Seeker should just be +1 toughness. It's 30 points. I think that's fair. Because
I like Death Cheater a lot on characters on mounts. You don't get monster slain.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
big.
shit. Danny, I take it
Yeah.
back, guys.
Yeah.
I take it back. Take Death Cheater. Yes.
Done.
So
If-
wrong.
I was
Unless
so
you're
wrong.
taking any of the other big names.
Well, that's the issue.
Yeah. Unless you're going to do some, unless your combos, but needs one of those. And Giant Breaker and Kin Eater are amazing.
Well, that's the issue, right? I've never looked at it like that because I've always taken a tyrant with Kin Eater or Giant Breaker. But you're absolutely freaking right, mate.
Yeah.
Like, if you're
Screw
playing
you,
against-
Tomb Scorpions.
Dude, it's Tomb Scorpions and freaking Bretonians, like
Yeah.
this one trick, like that's sick. That's great tech. That's worth the hour and a half people have listened to and the absolute nonsense so far. Well done. All right, magic item. First up, we have the Chunder Mace, as it shall always be called, as it shall never be taken.
Mhm.
I love that this is the 90.1 and the 70.1 is like fucking 5 times better. Thunder Mace is strength +2, AP 2, armor bane, magical attacks, requires 2 hands and strikes last. So it's 90 points for magical attacks on top of a standard great weapon.
Mhm.
90 points. Rather than attacking normally, the wielder of the Thunder Mace may choose to make a special Thunderstruck attack. If they do make a single hit roll, if it's successful, place the small 3-inch blast template so the central holes directly over the center of the unit. Any enemy model whose base lies beneath risks being hit only on a 4+ on the outsides, of course, for the partials.
Yeah.
But 90 points, unless they're playing something that a small blast is going to threaten, you have a magic attacked great weapon for 90 points. Piss off in every sense of the word.
Feel like a lot of the blast weapon stuff, game wide, was pointed before they put partial hits back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that because it's really cool if you want to add an extra roll to hit on your weapon.
Yeah.
Because it's like a 3+ to hit a lot of times and then a 4+ to actually hit, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Peter, then Danny, let's go.
The Tenderizer.
Seriously, just before you say this, one of the best weapons in the game.
Yeah.
It's really good.
One of the best weapons in the game.
It's
Straight up.
very good.
Send it.
The destructive power bound in the twin heads of this massive 200 club is enough to shatter a boulder with one strike.
It's strength +2,
good.
AP 3, extra attacks +1, multiple wounds D3, strikes last, but that's fine. Like, this is crazy. It's 5 more points than an Ogre Blade, and gets you an extra AP and an extra attack. Sure, you suffer strikes last. Get over it, guys. You get all this other stuff. Just take it.
Yeah.
So a tyrant with this has 6 strength 7 AP 3 attacks with D3 damage.
Mm-hmm.
It's terrifying.
Nobody wants to fight that guy.
Nobody. Not even your dad.
Yeah, it's
Once
yeah,
again,
I agree.
though,
It's maybe one
he
of
has
the
a
best
drinking
magic
problem.
items, weapons
This-
in the game for sure.
This is, once again, this is a club. This is a club that has AP 3. And
It's
yet they couldn't
magic.
give an AP to the freaking bear trap.
It's true.
A piece of wood. Stick.
All right. So speaking of bear traps, we've got the Skull Plucker, which is 45 points. It has it's a close combat weapon with strength user, but it does have no AP. But also it has strikes first, killing blow, and magic attacks. So it's like if you stuck a magic bear trap on your hand, that had strikes first for 45 points.
Yeah, I do like that. It's just a guy's glove, and the guy just liked ripping people's heads off. And that was it. It was like this dude just loved to rip off people's heads.
Big Aggie.
That's his whole shtick. Now you can too. But
I do not think it's good.
No,
unfortunately,
not particularly.
Strikes first is cute, but that's pretty much all you're paying for. The killing blow is nice, but so it's expensive for just a killing blow. Blood Cleaver is up next for 30 points. It is a combo weapon, of course. Strength user, AP 1, magic attacks. Emissaries of the Great Maw only, so only on your Butcher and your Slaughtermaster. If the wielder of the Blood Cleaver causes one or more unsaved wounds during the combat phase, it recovers a single lost. So if you just want to make your Slaughtermaster a little bit better for 30 points, don't do this. It's fine. Just don't do it. Moving on.
Okay, magic armor. Here's a really good one. Gut Maw. The wearer of this polished gut plate is reinvigorated by the life force of the defeated enemies. It's heavy armor, which is not bad because a lot of the stuff in this game is in this book is light armor. In addition, for each unsaved wound the wearer causes during a challenge, they recover a single lost wound. You're going to see this a lot in Ogre lists, especially on like a Stone Horn. Yeah, they're just constantly regenning wounds after you do 5 or 6 to them and almost kill them, and then they bring them back.
Yep, and you start with 9 freaking wounds of toughness 6 on your Stonehorn with -1 damage, and then you're just regenning wounds. It's a big problem. Danny.
We have Mastodon armor. This is 40 points. It is full plate and gives you a 6-up ward. That's okay.
Mm-hmm. So you can get to a 3-up? No, you can't. Yeah. You can't get to 3-up because nothing has armored hide. The Stonehorn doesn't have armored hide.
Oh, you mean like on a mount?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get to a 3-up with an
Iron Fist. Yeah.
Yeah, with an Iron Fist. Exactly right. Yeah.
40 points though. Meh.
That's a lot.
Next one is one I quite like. Spangle Shard, 35 points. Gives a 4-up ward save against any wounds suffered. However, the first time you roll a natural 1, the Spangle Shard is destroyed and can't be used again. I actually quite like this 35 points. I like it on my Slaughtermaster.
There aren't a lot of 4-up wards in the game, right?
Correct. No. Yeah. Like when things go pear-shaped and my Slaughtermaster gets exposed, it can just have a 4-up until fail for 35 points. I actually quite like it.
Next up is the Cathayan Jet Pendant for 10 points. This is a common magic item. Finely crafted Cathayan jet pendants are believed to protect against all forms of hostile magic. A Cathayan jet pendant gives its bearer 6+ ward save against wounds suffered that were caused by magic missiles, magic vortexes, or assailment spells.
It's like Rob was right in the room with us.
It was. Yeah, he's right here with us. Breathing down our necks.
Rob or Nick Van Dyke, one or the other.
Any good,
Peter? Man, we have a great magic banner. And let me just say, these banners have some bangers, right?
Ogres have a lot of good banners.
Essentially all 4 of the banners are takeable, which is wild. The first up is the Dragonhide banner, 45 points.
Dragonhide banner is reroll any to hit rolls of 1, and then you also get flaming attacks.
It's great.
Okay, cool.
Like straight up using that on a unit of Mournfang that has 6 attacks per model, all having reroll 1s. Pretty good.
That's good. Rerolls are a commodity in this game that not a lot of units have.
Yeah. We're out of rhythm, so Peter, go next and I'll go after.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I jump over you, Adam?
It doesn't matter.
No. Who did the Dragonhide? That was you, Adam. You just did the Dragonhide, didn't you?
I did the Dragonhide, and then Adam does Rune Maw, and then Peter does Cannibal Totem.
Yeah, we're fine, Adam.
All right.
You just really want to do Dragonhide.
Messing with machine. All right, Rune Maw, 40 points. When an enemy wizard chooses a unit carrying the Rune Maw as a target of a spell, roll 8d6 on a 3+. The wizard's controlling player must choose another target. There's no other viable target. The spell cannot be cast. I quite love this. One of the biggest issues I came into as an Ogre player is the fact that I pretty much have 2 maybe most of my armies now, I have 3 like actual damage dealing units, like 3 really good units. And when illusion magic every other turn can shut down 2 of them, I don't have an army. So the rune maw I've actually found I'm taking more often than not. When I don't take the rune maw, I usually take obsidian lodestones on some of my key units. Sure. But the rune maw is big. When you just like 3+, see you later, alligator, it's pretty good. All right. Peter, next one's a banger too.
Yes, the Cannibal Totem for 30 points.
The Cannibal Totem protects those who devour the strong in honor of the Great Maw.
It gives you a regen 5+. However, when you pursue, you can only roll a single d6 instead of 2 d6. Worth it. Regen is amazing.
In your brain, which bit about the Cannibal Totem got the sophisticated voice?
It's the Cannibal Totem.
I love that you both got King Eater and Cannibal Totem, though. That gives me joy.
Yeah.
It's a last theme. One.
I got bull standard.
I've yet to write an ogre list that doesn't have the Cannibal Totem in it, by the way. It's what goes on my unit of 6 Iron Guts every single game. Every single time.
Why is one of the best Magic banners also 30 points?
I know. That could have been the 45 point.
Yeah. Oh, easily. And it would have been a fair price, a very fair price to pay for that. Anyway, we got Bull Standard. This is a 20-point Magic banner. A unit carrying a Bull Standard may reroll any failed rolls to wound when resolving impact hits.
Banger.
Yeah.
Take all 4. The Magic Standards are this is possibly the best Magic Standards in the game. Like as a 4-pack. Yeah. Like I take 2, if not 3 of these in every list. They're so good. Dragonhide banner hasn't been making the cut because I've actually exchanged it for the Rune Maw. I was playing the Dragonhide banner, but I found it's better to just have a unit that does things. So the Rune Maw's actually been taking its place. But then Cannibal Totem and Bull Standard make every other list. Straight up. Yeah.
What unit do you put the Bull Standard on?
If I have a unit of 3 Mournfang. So a lot of the time I've got 3 Mournfang and 4 Mournfang. The 4 gets the Rune Maw, the 3 gets the Bull Standard.
Yeah, that's smart. I like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Who are we up to?
You.
Me? Jade Lion, 25 points. The bearer of the Jade Lion, any unit may re-roll failed Fear, Panic, Rally, or Terror tests. Not bad for 25 points, but I haven't found a reason to take it yet.
Yeah, I mean, most of your units are immune to fear, so
yeah.
You're really just taking it for terror?
Exactly right. When I read that for 25 points, I'm like, that's kind of fair and a good item. I just haven't had a reason to take it yet. The next one, though, is very taken.
Yes, 20 points, common magic item, Demon Slayer Scars. Demonic beasts are hunted in the Warpstone Desert and bled into lead jars. This acidic ichor is used as a war paint, giving the wearer a truly terrifying appearance. Unit, the bearer gains terror.
20-point terror. It's
20-point terror.
Imagine, if you will, that you price the Jade Lion at 25 points. And then the most important thing that it does is let you like re-roll terror checks.
Yeah.
And instead for 20 points, you make an extremely common magic item that gives you terror.
Yeah.
Accurate. The single hunters that you were talking about before, Danny. Demon Slayer Scars and just try and charge people's fast cav off the table. Just
I like it on unit champs too.
Yeah, I love it on unit champs.
Fistful of Laurels is the next one here. Also extremely common, 15 points. Single use, the bearer of a Fistful of Laurels and their unit may re-roll the 2d6 when making a break test. Not as cool as it once was, but I don't know. It's okay for 15 points, I guess. I probably wouldn't.
Yeah, guys, if you're taking the Fistful of Laurels, it's because you plan on losing. This is a loser item.
It is. So the only time I've considered it is when I was playing with the full Vanguard list and I had a big unit of man-eaters that I didn't think I could always keep in leadership and BSB. And so that was pretty much it. And
you set yourself up for failure.
Even then, I ended up dropping it.
Yeah.
All right. Arcane items, Halfling Cookbook, for 30 points. The bearer of the Halfling Cookbook increases their command range and dispel range and the range of a single spell chosen by their controlling player by 3 inches. A lot of books have a similar one of this. I found a similar one of this in the Empire. Empire Army book as well. Has anybody taken their like version of this in their book? Because it sounds good, but I never take it.
I definitely
the orc
have
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. The orc one does get taken.
There's 2 orc ones that do parts of this, right?
They're both great.
And they're both amazing. I've definitely taken the wood elf one too, although less so because it's restricted to you have to be near a forest to make it work. But yeah, like bonuses to Dispel Range are always great because it kind of gives you a little bit of an advantage in that wizard war of trying to stay within or without of 24 inches. Yep. And the fact that you can also pick a single cast spell to get that +3 is really solid too. You can do some cute stuff with that.
I think the command range buff is really interesting.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah. 30 points though to just put on a tyrant and they only get the command range. When you have just a Slaughtermaster general, like if that was a little bit more palatable, this would be this is extremely good. And that's where I've considered it. The troll, the ogre spells are 15 and 12 inch in range, so making them one of them, let me just double check that. Yeah, making them go to 18 and or go to 15 on Troll Guts and or Toothcracker is actually really nice. Because I have found with yours, usually you will have your Slaughtermaster at the back of the unit of Iron Guts, and then you're pushing the table with Stonehorns and Mournfang. They can get out of range very quickly. So that +3 might be clutch.
Hellheart. Is it my turn or Danny's turn?
It's your turn.
It's my turn. So this used to be the worst magic item in the game.
Yeah, terrible. Never taken. Never taken.
In 8th edition, if you took Hellheart, people thought you were legitimately a bad person.
Yeah, they thought you were dumb. For 20 points now,
by biting into the heart of a chaos spawn, the ogre creates a vortex of magical anarchy. This is single use during the command phase of your turn. You can consume the Hellheart. When you do, you suffer a single wound. However, until the start of your next start of turn subphase, any enemy wizard rolls any natural double on a casting roll, the spell is miscast. It's okay. It's kind of cute. It was way worse when you just forced everybody within 5d6 inches to miscast, and miscast fucking killed you. But still pretty cool.
It's cute. I still haven't had a reason to take it, but it's cute.
Yep.
All right, Gruts.
Next we have Gruts Sickle. So after making a casting roll, this is 40 points. After making a casting roll, the Bear of Gruts Sickle may use it to roll an additional D3 and add the result to their casting roll. However, a single friendly model within 3 inches of the bear immediately loses a single wound. Note, the result of this additional D3 cannot cause a miscast or a perfect image.
I like it.
Yeah.
I will put this on my Slaughtermaster at the back of the Iron Guts who have the Cannibal Totem, and then I'll shank them, and they'll have a 5+ to get the shank back. And yeah, it's good. Actually, do they get the regen versus shank?
No, they don't. That's
they don't get the regen versus
shank. They just lose the win.
Yeah. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. I like Grutsickle a lot.
You can even shank like a trapper to do this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been when I feel like I won't get mileage out of the saber tusks, they get shanked.
Shank that 2-point little dude that's running around in front of you.
Exactly right. There's tons of shankable options.
Yep.
Yeah, I like Grutsickle. 40 points is maybe a little on the high side when you factor in wanting to put defense on him as well. So I'll usually a lot of the time I'll have a Grutsickle and Spangle Shard, and then that's it. That's all the kit I'll put on my Slaughtermaster. But the issue is what I want is Grutsickle, Spangle Shard, and the freaking Ruby Ring, but I can't have it. 5 points too much.
You can't have the world, Adam.
A real shame.
I want it. All right. We have 2 spells to talk about, then we're done. Toothcracker is up first. It is an enchantment. It is casting value 7 or 10 with a range 12. If the spell is cast on a 7 or more target-friendly unit, gains +1 modifiers to his toughness characteristic. If a spell was cast on the 10 or more, you gain +2 toughness, which is why I really like Grutsickle. You push it, possibly up to getting very high casts. And then you have toughness 6 Mournfang. 4 toughness 6 Mournfang.
Seems good.
Lol. Very good.
That.
Very nice. Who wants to do Troll Guts? Who'd be next? Peter.
Yeah.
Troll Guts. Downing the repulsive innards of a troll, the butcher grants the beast's healing ability onto their companions. It's an
The
enchantment
chain
on an
halfway
8+ or an 11+. Range of 15. You give either regen 6 or regen 5+ to a unit that's friendly to you. It's pretty good. Regen's a really powerful ability. You have lots of ways to give it in this book, and here's another one. This is the third way.
Yep. What do you guys think is better, Toothcracker or Troll Guts in the current game?
Toothcracker.
Yeah, because of the casting values, I think, more than anything.
Yep. It's easy to cast, and not being wounded is better than preventing wounds that have already been done. That's how I've always looked at it. Like, in a lot of the time, Toothcracker is just a -1 to wound, like a -1 to your opponent's wound roll. It's kind of wild. And the fact that you can go to +2, and like when you got Grot Sickle, like and +4 to cast, possibly +7 to cast, like, shit, did you roll Snake Eyes? Nah, you got +2 to you got +2. Because yeah, when you got +7, the only fail is Snake Eyes.
Yeah, for sure. That's so good. And both of these are also good because they're not remains in play.
Yeah.
Correct. Thank God for that. But man, a toughness 8, like Stonehorn Tyrant. Oof. Oh, get out of here. You ain't got nothing. Yeah. And I have found that that's the thing that lets, like, especially when it's not the killy Stonehorn, when it's not the Tenderizer Tyrant, will let him stay in combat with like a Warriors of Chaos Dragon for an entire game and possibly even win it eventually. So it is very big. But that brings us to the end of the review. So yeah, we should have a like a thing we can play here. But gents, it is time for us to tell the people what we think about this book. There's been a lot of conjecture about this. In fact, I did have a very notable member of the community slide into my DMs and ask me if I believed Ogres needed a handicap, as in they needed assistance in the game. I strongly say that they don't. I think this book is quite good. The issues I have with this book is and the same with, like, it's not too dissimilar from many other books. There's just such a hugely vast gap between the takeable and untakeable units. And it's mostly down to the fact that Mournfang are so much better than everything else, mostly by dint of how the game is played at the moment. They are a necessary thing. And more than that, they are one of the best things in the game at what they do. And so when you have that in a book, it overshines literally every other thing in the book. Mournfang are just like twice as good as any other unit for the points in this book. And it's not a fun comparison.
Yeah.
Danny, first up, do you think this is a weak, strong, or top tier list or book?
I would say it's a strong list. I would even maybe say it's at the lower end of strong.
Yep, I agree.
I think it's got some really good units, but I think overall it has some really apparent weaknesses. It has no good way of like spot removing stuff like from range, and I think like I can think it can have a real problem with chaff units. I think the leadership is an issue, and I think that it doesn't have, with the exception of Mournfang and the characters, like any really good, doesn't have like a lot of good armor. And for a combat army, you really, really want that.
Yep, I agree. It's supposed to be using its like wounds characteristic as its save, and that doesn't kind of hold up at the moment. Peter, what do you think?
I agree on all accounts. I have nothing more to say.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Like, we're going to go over and we're going to talk about some competitive lists that I've run. These boys might help me actually work on my Vanguard list as well, because I find Ogres is a list of skews, and you can only skew because you have so many units that taken in a conventional list don't make sense. Like taking Yetis in a, conventional, Stonehorn, Mournfang list doesn't make sense at all. In fact, if you look at this book, like really brutally, there's like 4 takeable units. There's like 4 good units in this whole book. And that is Tyrants, whether mounted or not, Mournfang, Iron Guts, by dint of them just being like 5 times better than anything else in core. Oh, sorry, did I say 4 units? I meant 3. That's it. Those
the Slaughtermaster's pretty good.
Yeah. The Slaughtermaster is great, but apart from the fact that it will cost you,
it's very expensive.
A fifth of your army? He costs as much as sometimes my Slaughtermaster costs almost as much as my Stonehorn Tyrant. Like it's wild. Yeah. It's wild. They both cost like 400 plus points. It's 350 plus points. It's buck wild. It annoys me when I have two characters that are taking up nearly half my army. But anyway, gents, I totally agree. I think this is a probably middle to lower middle of the pack faction. Peter, you didn't mention where you thought it's at. Is that about right for you?
I think it's a middle of the pack faction. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely some lists that are stronger for sure. Like Danny said, there are armies that are going to exploit the holes in this list. That said, like you can put people in really bad situations very easily with it as well.
I think this is it's surprisingly quite a high skill cap army.
Oh yeah,
because you don't have much margin for error. A margin for error with this army costs you a 400-point unit, and it's you virtually can't recover from that. Sorry, the fourth unit was the Gorges, by the way. The fourth takeable unit.
Yeah,
freaking love my Gorges, man. They're so good. But on that note, we are out of here. We're going to go over and record part 2, where I'm going to be discussing some lists with these guys, bouncing some ideas and concepts that I have, and mostly just letting these guys milk my ogre knowledge so far, because I am like over 20 games played with ogres, and I'm sitting pretty comfortable with my knowledge and expertise there. So hopefully you guys will get something out of it there. And these boys will be asking me, what do you fear about other factions? How do you this faction, that faction play into ogres? So if you want to get some of that goodness, come over and join us at that Old World Charm over on Patreon. And you can join the 120 other people who have signed up and think we are worth the $1 dues. Gentlemen, anything you'd like to mention before we check out?
Not for me. I love you guys. You guys are great.
Us or the viewers?
No, you guys. The viewers suck. I mean,
it is great to record with you guys.
Yeah, we miss you, Danny. Now that you've reached the bar, because Danny is now a fully fledged lawyering person now. So much congratulations to you, sir.
Yes, and, congrats.
Thanks.
Easy done. All right, we're out of here. See you on part 2, guys. Love you all. Thanks for all the incredible support. Hopefully you've enjoyed at least 2 hours of Old World Charm goodness.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to that Old World Charm with those charming chaps, Adam, Danny, and Peter the Falcon. Thanks ever so much. Cheerio.